Shit, I have to. Okay, no, I have to actually
start.
Okay, time to fucking spurg. I will not.
Okay, wait.
No,
come on, dude.
shut the fuck up. No,
You've just been
this is
holding
my
this and you've
stream
just
now,
been
bitch.
edging for 5 minutes.
You've been
before
edging.
You could, like, bust.
Bitch, this is my stream now. I am the captain now.
Going on?
What do you think? This is like a French invaded stream now. All right, I'll give you some of the stage, Frenchman.
Oh,
French.
Before the Frenchman.
Okay, so
do the French invade?
Yes,
or do they just run
they
away?
Africa, maybe, but you know.
Yeah, they have invaded other countries before as well.
They invade other countries only to surrender to them.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Exactly.
The idea is like they go to like Africa and they invade it. So, oh no, I have surrendered. Would you? I mean, I would. You know, if you could now, if you want to, could maybe be a big black man to dominate me. I have surrendered. I just so happened to drop my weapon, and you could put the weapon to my throat, and you could say, "Oh, white man, you now have to suck my dick. I will put my big black penis in your ass." I mean, just as a suggestion, it is. It is. You have overpowered me. I guess there's nothing I can do at this point.
And then he whips out a sword and cuts off his hand like the French did to the Angolans.
Yeah.
But
so
like,
what did you want to spurg out about, Paul?
So, bit of context. Someone DMs me, like a friend on the server. He's like, feeling a bit sad. Let's talk a bit. So we get to the part where it's like, well, how did your profile come to be? Like, why are you called a posh barbarian? Why do you have the profile picture? Why do you have the profile banner?
All
I explained
very
a bit.
legitimate questions, I might say.
Yeah, like very legitimate.
I have those questions.
I start answering some of this, and then we somehow end up getting into TTRPGs because I did do a bit of role play as a barbarian, like in the early days of Discord. In my early days on Discord. And then when we start doing that, I'm like, hang on a second. Wait.
Hang on.
Celts. Ancient Celts during the Roman era. Dwarfs. Mix them up. I was like, wait a second. This could be like a viable fucking thing.
Dwarves and kilts?
But can you
Are we on
explain
Dwarves,
what you
dwarves
mean,
in like
though?
tartan fucking pants. Not just kilts, in tartan pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like we go on this discussion, like it starts off pretty slow, like like they'd still be dwarfs, Celts were like very
I'm
good
sorry to
metal
like
smiths.
immediately basically ruin your orgasm here, but fam, that's the dwarves in Warhammer Fantasy, as I understand.
No.
They're Celtic.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
But it is as I understand it, so that kind of I
No,
feel like that matters.
because you are wrong.
anything is as you
are
understand
wrong.
it. If you understand.
You are just wrong then. But anyways, so it happens, and it's like, well, it kind of makes sense because the dwarves are like renowned metal workers and miners.
That's a
and
stereotype, dude. This is like.
Well, I mean,
this
it's a
is like
stereotype,
saying-
but at the
Painful
same
It's like
time,
saying Mexicans
but
are
at
good
the
day
same-
laborers, dude. That's kind of.
But at the
racist,
same
bro.
time, like the Celts were renowned metal workers and miners. They had intricate fucking designs for a lot of their art and made a lot. They were renowned metalsmiths.
We do that, right? Who is
Yeah.
you know how like basically the British Isles were such like weebs for Celtic culture that they adopted it without like adopting a lot of it. Who is that but for dwarf culture? Like who is the
Vikings.
dwarf the dweebs essentially?
The Vikings.
Weaves.
The Vikings.
Well, no, not the
Hell
Vikings,
yeah,
the Scandinavians, basically. But like, so we start talking, and it's like, okay, bit of a deviation, but like the dwarves don't actually live in mountains to start off with. They live in hill.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of I like hill dwarves as like a whole
But
thing.
and then we go like, okay, so there's a lot of Let's motifs in like Celtic art where it's just like boars and crows and birds and shit. It's
Guys
like
getting fucked in the
boom,
ass.
boar cavalry for dwarfs and flying
yes.
giant crows.
Hell yes.
And I'm like,
That-
bro, this is legit.
I would actually like
we're
dwarves,
starting
man.
off and we're going like, bro, this is legit. And so we're
That
going like,
fucking rocks, dude.
yeah. And it's like, they look. Hang on, I've got some photos to pass on. Where are you guys?
Hard
Studio
Did you
Hamburger.
abandon your entire crew, Kashi?
No.
LMAO. But like,
Oh, I
so
died.
those aren't some of the ones that I want to show. But hang on, these are parts of the ones. So
This
like,
better not be
imagine
gay porn,
dwarves.
Better not.
Of course, I'm blasting
It is
you
French.
with gay imagery right now. But like, you see that guy on the horse with the chainmail? Imagine a dwarf, but like that.
Hey,
You know?
okay, this is the guy with the chainmail. That's kind of he's like he's wearing very short like
Shorts.
it's really I
Like a
know
dress?
he's wearing chainmail, but it's like, is it that much of a summer look that you have to go that short? Like you
Yeah.
can probably you can see the lower bit of his
Put
ass
pants
cheeks
on.
probably.
Yes.
They're
Exactly.
fighting barefooted though, so I mean,
Oh yeah, they are.
This guy's he's wearing pajamas, dude. Like what kind of situations are they finding themselves in? Like
And like,
He just,
um,
that's why he's back.
The
He just
war on
woke up.
sleep.
yeah, he just woke up.
yeah.
Oh shit, war.
they're invading.
Not again.
Fuck. Fuck.
But like, you got like giant goats and boars and
Yeah.
giant flying
Yeah.
crows as like actual rideable animals for them, and it's like, bro, that sounds pretty cool.
That is
Actually,
pretty
like, no
bold.
joke. Like, it's like you always hear about giant eagles or giant birds of prey, but you never hear about like the giant sparrows or the giant red robins.
That would be great.
I was gonna say I very rarely hear about giant eagles, but I feel like I've heard about giant sparrows even less than that. So I feel like your point
True.
is valid.
Yeah.
Isn't
And so,
that
like,
giant
we're going on this, and then it's like, wait a second. There's different diasporas of Celtic people. There's like the Gauls in modern day France. There's the Belgae in Belgium. There's like the Pannonian/Balkan Celts, and there's even Celts who made it all the way into Turkey. Who, by the way, just to say how fucking cool these guys are, the Celts that managed to end up all the way in Turkey, these guys got the fucking Greek pharaoh of Egypt to go, yo, these guys balling, let me add them as part of my bodyguard retinue. That is how badass they were.
That's different from the Vikings who became in the Byzantine Empire the guys, right? There's
Yeah.
a different instance of this happening.
Yes. And so, like, we were thinking that, and like, wait a second, so if there's different diasporas, how about different diasporas of dwarves? And I'm not saying, like, oh, these are different clans. We're talking about completely different lifestyles. We're talking about, like, you got the Hillfoot dwarves, they're the most closest to, ancient Celts as can be. Like, the whole kind of clothing and shit, armor,
Yeah.
apart from the fact that they ride boars and goats and giant crows, obviously, they're the closest to Celts.
Yeah.
Then you got something which is called a mountain dwarf. So these somewhat resemble the ancient Celts, but they live in mountain strongholds,
They're Swiss.
basically. But these are a lot more different, as in they wear a lot of more different things. So it's like you can see chainmail, you can see like I don't know, hardened mushroom. They live with fucking rat people as well, because this is the one thing I never understand about a lot of fantasy settings. It's like everybody is against themselves. Like the dwarves are bitter enemies to the elves and ratmen and humans and etc. etc. But it's like the ancient world, you had like different groups of people come together, right?
Well,
And so I
yes,
was-
and also no. Like there was that,
Yeah.
and then also there was a lot of like war and death.
Yeah,
type
but like,
situations.
example,
mixed bag, to be
Massilia,
fair.
the city-state, what is now modern-day Marseille, right? That used to be inhabited by Greeks who had a lot of Gauls/Celtic people
Yeah.
living with them, like in cohabitation with them, right?
Yeah.
And there's-
Of
there's-
course, it's not real marriage. It's cohabitation. It's like a
yeah.
civil union.
But like, imagine that, but for ratmen in mountains with dwarfs. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
I
not-
mean the thing is that look, I like the kind of fantasy city where there's like different kinds of like creatures, but at the same, you have to consider that like those are all humans and rats. I don't know if you know this,
Yeah,
but rats
I
are
get
not,
what
like,
you
human.
I get what you're saying, but this is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so the reason the dwarfs, like, we got a bit of
Yeah.
lore here about why the dwarfs like separated. Like, the Hillfoot dwarfs are the original OG dwarfs. They're
Yeah.
the first dwarfs to ever exist. The mountain dwarfs are the second ones. Like, during some wars and some catastrophic events that happened in a lot of the hill forts, they decided, like, nah, you know what? Surface kind of cringe. We gonna go to mountains now, right?
Yeah.
Mountains.
Yeah. And so they started to build mountain forts and whatnot. And, you know...
Hey, Posh.
s-
Pause
yeah.
real quick. Is this your like head? Is this like something you're making up, or is this like a fantasy setting?
Someone's brainstorming with a friend of
Yeah,
yours,
no,
is what I
I was
understand.
brainstorming with a friend,
Yeah.
and we just got some, like, homebrew
That's
lore and shit.
Yeah. That's the
dick's
best,
huge.
honestly. Like,
Yeah, and so
I
we're just...
can't do this with people because I'm always like, no, actually, I have a better. My idea is better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I'm right. This is my world.
Excuse. I'm
No.
just. I am very bad at collaborating with people.
This is
Yeah.
pee-pee-poo-poo?
Like,
This
I
needs
like
to
your
be the
idea.
way
I like
want
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, so we got to that point, and it's like, okay, so they're slightly different. They wear more, like, plate armor. Not necessarily plate armor as you know it from, like, the day, as well as the Roman plate armor. We're talking, like, just the cuirass. So just the torso armor.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Queer.
okay.
Oh.
Sorry,
Queer
I
ass
didn't
armor
know.
you're wearing.
I was like, whoa.
Those are the ones that eventually become the French.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it, fuck you, asshole. But, like...
You could have just said chestplate. You set yourself up. Do not
Yeah,
come
no,
out.
that is fair. That is fair. But, like, so they also have, like, pack rats, obviously, since they live with rat people, and the rat
Yeah.
people just
Creative.
have a lot of rat beings, like, different variation. Like, pack rats are obviously the size of dogs and are very good hunting animals. Stuff like that. Nothing too extreme for the planet. Nothing too extreme. Like, you'd say, like, yeah, okay, they're fantasy, but it's not too extreme. Then we get to the part where we diverge from those two, from the mountain dwarfs, and they split up in two. So you have something called, like, the underlayer, which is, like, really deep underground. And
The
these
Underdark.
dwarfs are, like, fucking wild. They've, like, not seen the sun for ages. They're pale, white, milky white.
Like gamers.
Yeah, probably. They have very bad eyesight and light. They also have this weird cohabitation with, like, fucking mushrooms of all things, and, like,
What's
probably...
those ones in Skyrim?
Fallen.
They're
Those are
beards.
elves.
Oh my-
They're snow elves.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
And
there was also
like-
the Dwemer, but the dwarves in Skyrim are literally, they're called dwarves, but they used to be exactly the same size as everyone else. They just, the thing that makes them look different is they're like a kind of elf, and also they're blue.
And so these underlayer, as the humans call them, or like we've also come up with terms between human and dwarven terms. Like for human terms, they're called underlayer dwarfs, but for dwarfs, they're called abyssal dwarfs.
Yeah,
Like
Fancy.
they've sunk into the abyss.
yeah.
into
Right?
Me too.
And so
Relatable.
these guys have left the mountains long ago because of events that happened, like earthquakes and whatnot. And it's like, you know what? Going even deeper underground, that sounds cool. And so they've got like mushrooms that have started growing in places of their beards instead.
Oh,
You
that
know?
rocks, dude.
nice.
Yeah, but we haven't
that
fleshed
is
it out,
fucking-
so it's
that
like
is
it's
a
just
million
like an
dollar
idea.
dude.
It's
Yes.
like we don't know what we're going to do with this, but it's like they
I
hang.
will steal this idea. I
Fuck
do.
you. We did it first. You heard it here, Burger
Be ca-
Podcast. We had it first.
Be careful what you tell him.
But like, I don't care. I want this as open source as possible. I'm just spitballing ideas here, and I want people to pick them up. It doesn't matter if I'm not the one to create them. I just want people to make this.
I will pretend like this was my idea, and I will.
I will
Fuck
take it all the credit.
I will sue you personally for.
But like, yeah, you know, and so like, there's the Underlayer / Abyssal dwarfs. They are weird. They also use like giant underground beetles and like very weird fungus that like hardens to wood
You know,
as
if
armor.
a fungus was like a mount or something, that would be kind of cool. Cause like the slime
That actually
funguses like
sounds pretty
move
cool.
around.
Like a.
Yes, sentient funguses. That's another idea I have to put on there. Like, bruh.
Well, it just
Like,
so
so
happens
many
I made a
bees
whole
floating
video on that. I just want to point that out.
Yes, you did, and I watched it.
It was a
and
good
that
video.
Was very good. Yes, it was very good. But like, so the other thing I want to add is, like, they got like strange hardened mushroom that turns into some sort of woods. They also got like a lot of rare gems on their clothing and shit. Then they also have very
Well,
good
they would
miners.
only be rare to people who didn't live
Yeah.
down there, right?
Yeah,
So.
obviously.
I
They're
mean-
like really deep underground, so it's like you find a lot of them, but they're very hard to get back to the surface because it's so deep. And like
So like the pressure is messing you up.
the pressure, the heat, everything. It's like it is very unstable
So you'd
under
have to
there.
wear like a special suit.
No, you'd have to have a lot of magic because the air is so suffocating and dry.
Magic.
And it's like there's so few water, but they've just learned to adapt because of like the giant insects that help them, and like, bruh,
This actually, I really expected this to not be good, but it was fantastic. It was actually
What are
very
we-
good.
What are we talking
what
about?
the
I'm sorry,
fuck did I
had to
tell
wait to
you?
call first.
We're talking
like-
about
pretty
the
killed,
dwarves.
Yeah,
What?
we're talking about dwarfs at the moment, and like spitballing ideas that I've had with a friend talking about multiple dwarfs that we're just gonna. I'm trying
be
to set
honest,
aside
when-
time.
You started
That's
with
Steven.
the Celts, and I was like, oh no, where are you going?
You know,
But it
what,
ended
you
in
know,
a good place.
You
Sure.
know how in The Boys they have Love Sausage, the guy with the prehensile penis?
Oh my god.
They should have
Excuse me, what?
give the women that.
No, but
I
like
stopped
the
after
other,
that dude started drinking like titty milk. I was done.
But like the other thing is like so
Wait,
they use
do your dwarves-
beetle
wait, do female
armor,
dwarves-
but they melt.
do fem-
They can melt down and combine the beetle armor with like metals to make an even cooler piece of armor and stuff like that.
Well,
So are you gonna make a
which
game?
Everything is better when it's more cool, you know. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
I
a
mean,
very
that's, like-
basic wisdom.
But the other thing was, oh yeah, so you've got those guys, but then you've got the so-called middle depth dwarf, or like middle realm dwarves, who.
Is that
So
what they're
basically,
called?
the mountain. Yeah, that's what they're called. So you got
You didn't
Hillfort
think
Mountain.
of like a cool name for the middle
We're
dwarves?
still working on it. We're still working on it.
There's like
Fuck you.
middle FC guys.
Yeah, fuck them. They're the middle
So,
child.
like,
No one cares.
Hillfort. The way it goes is Hillfort, mountain dwarfs, middle depth dwarfs, and then underrail dwarfs, or underworld dwarfs. And so the middle depth dwarfs are like. The mountain dwarfs have a lot of outposts because they like to keep things. They like to know things, right? Because they're like, the world's kind of fucked, but you know, I like having things, right, from around the world. We're traders,
That's
right?
exactly how I feel every day.
And it's like, you know, they've got a lot of outposts. They've got overground outposts, which are, you know, they're just regular mountain dwarfs manning them, like not too different. And then you got underground outposts, which are very different. It's like a fucking Wild West, my guy, because the underground in this universe is fucking dangerous.
Howdy, partner. I'm a middle dwarf. I have
But,
a
like,
gun.
Oh god, hang on.
No,
there's
it's
even-
only realistic if the towns aren't big enough for more than
Here's
one
the
person.
problem with that, right? It's never high noon. So
It's
you
never.
can't-
Oh,
you
no.
can't be awake.
It's
Yeah.
never high noon.
Yeah,
It's,
but
it's
like,
dark out. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
but like,
This,
um,
you have to have
middle
the sun for the
Yeah, yeah.
west.
but it's like a middle west kind of deal. It's not necessarily that it is the Middle West. It's just that it has a very Middle West kind of.
Well, they wouldn't know where they are. They're under the ground.
Yeah, but it's like it's wild. So it's like everybody's kind of every kind of outpost is its own little town, and they are only in it to survive for themselves, right? Which is kind of a Western kind of situation, right? I guess.
Yeah.
And so, like, you've got a lot of adventurers down there, especially dwarven adventurers who know the mines well. They are very extremely skilled craftsmen. They start to ride beetles and stuff like the underworld dwarfs, but, not to the extent where they're so corrupted like the underworld dwarfs. And, like, you've got different terms that the dwarfs use between themselves. You've got, like, the higher bound dwarfs and the lower bound dwarfs. Beetle male. Wait, is that a thing? Beetle male.
Beetle.
Like you said, they make armor, right?
Oh,
that sounds baller. That sounds baller, bro. No, but dragon skin is like. Oh, that's another thing. Actually, I just thought of this, but like underground mountains, like good for certain types of dragons because they're different types of dragons, and these are sort of like the European. We might choose the like ancient Roman approach, which I think the dragons were very different. But I would need to research on
very little about ancient Roman dragons.
But it's like
I was about to say
from what I can remember, the Dacians had the concept of dragons.
The Dacians are the ones with the cars, right?
No, the Dacians are like the people who live in modern day Romania, who used to live in modern day Romania.
Who made the Dacia cars back then.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, but basically,
are they dragons with like front feet too?
I think they only have like they are more or less wyverns, basically. Like only two wings and feet. That's it. No actual arm claws or whatnot.
Right.
I found a.
Yeah, basically it had the head of a dog
Theodore,
for some
you're not
reason.
really coming through in terms of speaking very well. Like you start speaking, then it like cuts off.
But like
your sensitivity might be too, either too high or too low. I don't know.
But also, like the dynamics between the dwarfs is strange. Like they all have this rivalry between each other, but they all kind of consider themselves like part of a similar group. Not the exact same group, but similar enough that if there's an outside threat threatening like one of their own, even though they're like different types of dwarfs, like say for example a Hillfort dwarf clan is being attacked by like human raiders, say for example, or like a huge human empire has come to subjugate like a mountain clan, these dwarfs will fucking band together and say fuck you, get out of my house.
That's pretty intuitive.
But like they've learned this because of the culture they grew up with, which was like people want to fuck you over for the metals and gems you mine, right?
Yeah.
Because that shit precious, yo. And they've kind of learned, like, you know, even though we are distantly related, like, you fucked off in the mountain and left us on our own, you are still kin.
Okay, but why? Why did they fuck off to the mountain?
Because they said, like, surface kind of cringe, yo. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Depends.
But, like, the more reclusive dwarfs are obviously the underworld dwarfs who very rarely go to the surface. And, like, when they do, it's, like, barely 100 of them, if not. But like you've got this concept of like they call themselves higher bound and lower bound dwarfs, and like
I mean, of course, there's the fucking.
But it's like it's weird because like you consider dwarves to be a very mountainous people, and like Hillfort dwarves are like the most probably like level 0 dwarfs you can get, and they're still called
well,
like
now
higher
we're getting
bound.
into like phrenology shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
this is now I'm no longer that. Oh, Jesus Christ! No longer that on board.
Come on.
Oh, this is a lower kind of dwarf.
But like, yeah, but like, hang on, I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find.
One and get it down to the mine.
You die a lot, my guy.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's strange because I'm trying to find ancient Gaul clothing, but it's very difficult to find because they just show the very mainstream media approach of it, of like, oh, they're bare chests, they have loincloths and shit. It's like, bro, really? I'm trying to be serious here. Do not give me this shit.
Are you gonna watch The Rings of Power?
I just don't care about Lord of the Rings all that much, honestly. That's why I'm probably not going to watch it. What I am curious about, fucking Chris, how the fuck is Vietnam, dude?
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Can you even like talk, or are you gonna have to type in studio chat?
No, he's gonna have to
like,
type.
Mute it. It's fucking
Like,
it's pretty
shit like that,
Actually,
you see?
I mean, if you're not gonna speak, just shut the fuck up.
Just
Oh, also, just before Chris overtakes, but like, you know how dwarves have really good beards, right?
yeah.
Celts had very good facial hair. Like they took care of their facial hair. It's been
You
heavily
can too.
documented. Like, yeah, I know, but like for the time, it was considered like abnormal to everyone else, and maybe the Greeks. And
Is
like
that like
everybody
how
else
Vikings
was like,
took baths and everyone was jealous because
Yeah.
they'd steal their wives?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
took baths?
yeah, and it was like,
That is
you know,
some
they
incel shit,
had
dude. Like,
they had fucking combs to take care of their fucking mustaches.
I'd
And
just
yes,
be
they
like-
Which
grew
reminds me.
mustaches.
Why don't you take a shower? Like, it's not that hard.
I'm googling Celtic facial hair and I get a lot of braided beards. I really like that.
That
like-
can happen.
I like that.
Try ancient Celtic.
Ancient Celtic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it. By the way, you were talking about that's just a decapitated head.
is that
What do you
we're
mean?
talking about?
You were speaking before of the mountainous dwarves that were like very rarely coming to seeing the surface.
Yeah.
I'm just it just reminds me. I've seen a thing somewhere where with setting somewhere that had dwarves be that spent a vast majority of their lives underground in when they go to the surface, it takes them several days to adjust because they just get physically ill from the sunlight.
Mm.
I like
damn.
I like the ones where they like become Australian, basically, where they like go.
Oh, fuck, mate.
And they're like, oh, I'm fucking on the ground, I need my ground harness to not fall into the fucking sky, because they
Yeah.
think like if you
They
you
like
don't
hold
have a-
onto the grass.
Which is it's so incredibly dumb. This is like how they are in Dragon Age, which I don't understand how, because like they, even if you live in a cave, like you understand that you
Gravity.
don't just start falling up. Like I never
Yeah.
really understood. Fucking
I can understand being like weary of the sky, like how it's like weird and something you're not used to.
Yeah, there might be like there could be a guy up there on like a paraglider who will just like fly down and put his dick in your mouth. Like that could happen realistically,
But, like,
you know.
Statistically,
There's something to be scared of, but like to fall into the sky, I don't have empathy with that. I'm just gonna dismiss their fears.
Also,
Where is
just to
that?
kind of,
Yeah.
not disprove, but like Celts, it's not that they didn't have beards, but they very rarely had beards. Also, their kind of attitudes towards beards was
you were the
weird.
one who said they had beards.
Well, not
Yeah.
beards, facial hair.
Oh,
they had
this is
facial
killer,
hair.
dude.
And
This is a killer image.
which one?
The single guy.
The single guy.
This,
Yeah, I told you,
that
like,
motherfucker is baller. He is dripping.
By the way,
Yeah.
have you seen that? Okay, this is a kind of a non sequitur, but I'm still I'm still hung up on the fucking hairdo of the Celts.
Did this guy
Yeah, you
like
seen-
tattoo separate set of nipples in like the center of his spirals onto his chest? Like,
Yes.
what the fuck?
It looks like
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, but like, also, Hillfort dwarfs, tattoos. You get naked fanatic Hillfort dwarfs who have fucking tattoos all over themselves. Like the ancient Celts, with like, you know, the Celtic spirals and shit, and the Celtic
Yeah.
crosses.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
bruh.
that.
Like, that shit is like, bruh, get more tattoo representation in fucking high fantasy barbarians, please.
ERPG?
Oh, yeah, I was about
literally-
to do like, oh look, the
No.
Frenchman is talking about naked men with tattoos, but withstood that urge.
I mean,
with my
to be fair,
incredible
I
willpower.
would be fucked by a man who had fucking Celtic tattoos all over him. I would let a man
I
fuck
assumed as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
me.
Given that
Theo
you are
just looking at
actually
me.
gay.
Like, Theo
Like-
just looking at me, going, should I?
You're
Should I
not
get
gonna, you're not
tattoos?
gonna find that on Bumble, my dude.
No, unfortunately not. But a man can dream, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, what?
No.
But, like,
Wow.
also,
Wow.
yeah, Celts had very weird attitudes about facial hair. Like, you only after a certain point in your life could you get facial hair, like an actual
called puberty.
That's
mustache
true
or
about our time also.
no,
because-
but not like puberty and shit. Like
Yeah.
they had like not necessarily a strict code, but it was very heavily frowned upon in their society to have like facial hair when you were considered a youth. You know, for what they considered youth to be.
I'm an honorary youth.
Hell yeah.
But like, so
Will you?
only I think only men who.
No, not
Oh
that
my
one.
fucking god, Burger. But like it's strange. And like beards weren't necessarily very normalized in Celtic society. Mustaches were though. So it's weird because every representation of barbarians or ancient Celts is always like the full beard. Which strangely enough is also
Well, I mean, you posted a bunch of them here, and I don't think any of them have a full beard. Like,
yeah, no, it's always mustaches. You might
Oh,
have the
this one.
occasional beard
these two.
among like very like notorious chiefmen and whatnot. Also, hairstyles. They had a lot of braids among their people as well, but also like slick back hair with like some form of like ancient gel or something.
They used butter a lot.
I don't think it
What?
was butter. I think it was like some form of like
it was
war
margarine.
paint.
Yeah.
Mar-
I can't believe
Ancient
it's
margarine.
not butter.
Oh my God.
Have you seen that picture of the 2,000-year-old skull that still has his like hair knot?
Excuse me?
Hang on,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
Can I
yeah,
post
I
the
know,
skull or is that?
I know.
Yeah, you go.
I know which one you're
this-
talking about. I know which one you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I have actually seen that. That is fucking cool.
That
That
is
is
really
cool.
fucking cool.
Yeah. This is actually German. This is actually from Germany. This is like a guy who I think is from the Suebi tribe.
Yeah,
Because
it
it's
was
literally called the Suabian knot.
Yeah, the Suebenknoten.
Yep. And I think it only became prominent like after the 1st century AD.
Yeah.
Also, hello, Jane.
Well, I mean, everyone's teeth were kind of fucked back then.
No, but like the Swabian knot is actually pretty cool as a hairstyle. If I could, I would get myself a Swabian knot.
From what I understand, dentist teeth back in the day weren't as fucked up because sugar wasn't as like a staple in your diet.
No, I mean you had honey, but that was rare.
Well,
That,
but
like, honey
you
and
need to-
fruit,
here's
but
thing
What's
that
the
you need to
English's
consider.
excuse now then?
Do you like? This might actually be this. The Euros here might reveal ourselves to have bad teeth, like genetically. But how many people how many needed like braces when you grew up?
Me.
Like it's not because I did too. My teeth were mega fucked, and it's not like that just happens because I ate too much sugar. It's like they just grew fucked up.
No, yeah, I mean certain things like that would, but I mean more things like tooth decay were less common.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
also more deadly because if you had tooth decay,
Yeah, you can.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
You just
kind of
you
like
just
now
did.
in America, you were basically as good off as an
Just
American.
living in America.
Just your teeth just right out of your skull. It's a
It
luxury
probably
bone
also-
we have to have separate insurance for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It also, because like you'd have to keep your wisdom teeth, so it would push all your teeth and make them wonky anyway.
I actually have to
Yeah.
do that with one of my wisdom teeth because there's like on this side there's only like they're called milk teeth in America as well. The original
No.
ones, the OG
The
ones.
first.
The
your
first teeth. In
original
Germany they're
teeth.
called milk teeth.
They're called baby teeth.
Okay.
Aw.
Well, I feel
Milk
like
teeth.
milk
That sounds like a
teeth-
Skyrim thing.
Yeah.
That's like
LMAO.
He sounds
Yeah,
like
the
going
ones
there and
that
be
fall out
like,
are
you
just
still have your
baby
milk teeth, youngling.
Yes, actually, that does sound like that. It's like the companions where they're like werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and there's just one of those here, and there's no like the teeth that come after underneath it.
Right.
So at some point in my 30s, it's gonna like drop out. And I mean, I have a huge mouth, so I can keep my wisdom teeth anyway. But on that one, I said I actually need to because it'll take like its place.
I have one crooked ass teeth because I still have my wisdom teeth and I shouldn't have them anymore. But I have like one crooked teeth that is like this one here. And it's like, it really pisses me off because I honestly do not want to go into fucking surgery to get one teeth kind of like in the right
I wouldn't
spot.
like I wouldn't do that either with like tumors.
The thing is,
just
my
for
dentist
one tumor to get one tumor removed, dude.
Ew.
Give me
Yeah,
a
we
deal,
can leave
man.
stage free.
The thing is that my
Listen,
dentist,
Doc,
my
call me
dentist
whenever
keeps
it's for my
telling me.
lymph nodes.
My dentist keeps telling me. My dentist keeps telling me that I should fix that. And the problem is that my dentist is also my mother, so that's kind of a.
So that's why you don't listen to her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
She's just trying to get money, dude. Like that's.
She just wants.
She's
She
a
wants.
It's
gold
just
digger,
part of
bro.
the system, bro.
She wants some return on investment for raising me.
Yeah.
But like,
It's
I've got
funny
so
until
many
it's true.
ideas. Which
Yeah.
Which is why I'm gonna be doing like a session on like Saturday because Saturday and Sunday are fucked weather-wise. Like it is gonna be 39
what
degrees here.
session?
Like I'm just gonna be doing a session with the guy, just like
Give me a
going
second.
over
I
this.
figure out what 39 degrees is.
Oh, okay.
What is
Like
Yeah, tell me.
You're gonna pop back up to fucking 39, dude? That is fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Oh, that's
So
like
you're
that's
gonna-
like 90.
102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot.
That's crazy.
This is like
It's
close to-
hot.
this is like a couple of weeks ago where it was like the hottest temperature that ever was reached in Britain, right?
That's like a summer in Florida. Like that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
bad.
But like
Britain is not used to that shit.
No, yeah, you guys are gonna die. Like it's
Gonna
Yep.
die.
yep, sounds about right.
it's over.
Pour one out
Game
for
over.
the homies.
Everyone
All
turn on
over
your,
out for me.
everyone
I'm
turn
not
on your
coming
portable
back.
gasoline generators because it's fucked now anyways.
The problem is too, like a lot of this, especially like in Northern Europe, the houses that we build are built to retain heat. Because
Yeah,
the problem
true.
that we have to deal with
Because
is
the
not that it gets
winter.
too hot, but that it gets too cold.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, the way they're built also kind of helps with like them not heating up too fast. But once that has happened, it's a problem.
Yeah, Europeans used to make fun of us for having wood houses. Now guess what's happening.
Well, no. Listen,
Nerds.
okay. So Southern Europeans do not have this problem. Their houses are not built out of wood either. They just paint them white, which is something we
No, but
should
don't
maybe
like
also
bricks.
do.
Don't like bricks. Also, don't bricks maintain a lot of heat.
Yeah, I mean,
they're really
they have
good
a lot more.
insulation.
They use a lot more gypsum too in Southern Europe. So
Can I just
they don't
complain?
use brick as much. They use different. A lot of them use like different kinds of natural stone and fucking brickwork.
Sure. Well, I mean, we use
It's,
gypsum here. But...
Can I just complain really quick because my flat is like insanely hot always. Because you can see the angle of the roof directly above me.
Yeah, you're a rooftop kind of.
Yeah, and also the pipes for hot water and shit are just completely unisolated. If I put my hand up against the wall behind my screen, it is warm to the touch.
Damn. Is it like a weird feeling to touch a pipe and know that there's like shit running through it? Like.
No, it's behind the wall, but it's radiating its heat outwards.
That is other people's shit heat, dude.
That is the no. You know what? Because when I put the tap to cold and I open the tap, it comes out. No, it comes out so fucking hot that I can't touch the water for like 20 seconds because it's basically boiling.
There's like a problem. So the hot water in this house is actually very good, but something that happens is the cold water pressure kind of sucks. So what'll happen as I'm taking a shower or like literally doing anything is that the cold water pressure will instantly drop and I will just be scalded to the extent that I will like actually have visible burn marks from that.
Dude,
that I
sucks.
could sue my landlord over, but that's
Jesus Christ.
they will send a death squad.
Nasty.
moment and shoot me in the head.
That makes sense.
Mm.
I'm wondering, how is your like electrical infrastructure?
And is
holding
that
up
included
with
in the
change
rent?
of weather?
Pretty fine, actually, from what I understand. Like, it's not really a big problem.
Yeah.
A lot of power lines are like the major power lines. Obviously, the ones that transport over long distance are above ground, but like within cities and stuff, it's all below ground anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me.
I just remember in Texas, whenever they had like sudden weather shifts, like their entire grid shut down because it was not prepared for it.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot there, right?
Recently, with the world ending and all that.
Yeah, that,
Like
it's a factor. Yeah.
Chris, is your apartment in London north facing? Because that's what I have here. I'm like ground floor north facing. Super fucking chill. It's never hot in here. Like it's really. I mean, in winter it gets very cold. But it's never like hot. People complain. This I think is one of the reasons why I like summer so much, because I can't just go home and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here. Like it's cold enough. I don't need AC.
It's chill.
I don't need any of that shit. Oh yeah,
you don't have-
sandstone actually is something that a lot of Southern Europeans use,
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
and that does. I think it does not retain heat as well. Don't quote me on this.
Both of these nuts.
I
Very.
gotta imagine it's better at retaining heat than like just
Yeah.
a wood frame building. But
Yeah. Probably. I mean, wood's not that conductive, so it doesn't get hot very quickly, does it?
oh, in houses down here, no,
Like,
not
I'm not-
really. I mean, the AC's out. You can just open a window or something.
Yeah, we don't
but-
have AC in
And
England.
the problem with when the AC is
Much.
out in like here is when you open a door, 30 types of insects will fly through the window, and then a huge wave of soupy air enters your house.
Oh yeah, you live in that's fucked up.
I live
You
in
fucking
swampland.
swamp. Yeah.
It's actually a lot better. I moved recently to closer to the beach line. It's a lot nicer because there's a really strong
He
breeze.
now lives in Andrew Jackson Street, 73, apartment number 4 in Jacksonville, Florida.
Andrew Jackson. Why does everyone keep saying Jacksonville?
Well, it's he lives. It's the apartment on the.
No,
fourth floor.
I live on like the East Coast,
The
central East Coast area.
Yeah, the door is actually blue, and the window of the
My
room
door is blue. Get out of my fucking house.
Are you looking? I was about to say, are you like across the street looking at it?
Yeah,
Like
I am.
I'm watching you right now.
He hopped the fence because, of course, I'm not a plebeian and I have a gated neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too.
I'm out the ghetto finally. It feels
So
nice.
now
Hey,
it's your apartment is
high five.
actually like fine and like not.
Oh,
everything
it's fantastic.
over.
Yeah, it's great. And my rent's doubled, but it's
But
fucking-
Yeah.
my rent is $2,000, but it's fine.
Oh,
Same.
I
It's fucking
completely-
nuts.
I absolutely fucked up today. I was looking for flats, and I had this appointment at like 6:10.
In the morning?
No, in the evening.
Oh, okay.
And but I work until 6, so I talked to my
Yeah.
boss, and I got like, yeah, you can leave half an hour early. That's no problem. Okay, cool. And I checked. It is direct connection with the train, with the tram, from my place of work to that flat, right? So I wouldn't even have to like change anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Very handy. It's very close as well. It's not that long of a drive. I just hop on the train on the line, and it's just I'm waiting for the station's name to be called, and it's not getting called. And okay, maybe it's a bit further than I expected it to be. And then it says, "Oh yeah, this is the final stop. Everyone, fuck off."
Oh no.
And I checked my phone, and I took the right train, but in the wrong direction. Appointment in 5 minutes.
Oh my god, you fucking idiot.
And then I guess I'm gonna call and I'm gonna tell them that I can't make it. And I called them. You're calling outside of our business hours.
What the fuck?
Oh,
They
man.
didn't give me a fucking mobile for the guy who I'm supposed to meet there or anything. I just had to write them an email and say, look, I'm sorry, something came up.
I seriously would have an immensely difficult time to go apartment hunting these days, because
I
it was
fucking hate
difficult
it.
enough here, like when I moved into this one, but
Yeah.
it was a fucking nightmare. And I mean, good. There was also I might have like become homeless and whatever the fuck. in like the middle of winter, but that's really not. It was difficult enough, and I know that now this has become like 10 times worse.
Oh,
And I like,
Yep.
I could not do it. I have
going-
immense respect for anyone who does.
Going apartment hunting and just seeing and just I'm like that one time I was like very early, like 10 20 minutes early,
Yeah.
and I'm in front of this door and there is a line of like 30 people forming behind
Oh
me.
yeah, oh yeah. I see. I live in the
Fuck
building I live
that.
in is pretty shit. But
Yeah.
you know when an apartment is free because like
Yeah.
I will go
Yeah, you do.
shopping and there will just be fucking 30 people out there.
It is
Oof.
fucking insane. I hate it. I hate it so much. I got this apartment right now referred to as a friend, and that's like the only reason, the only way I can
Yeah.
think to
Our,
get an apartment.
You have
Are
to
rent
consider
problems
too.
are rent problems really bad in Europe too? Is that like something that's like cross continent?
Oh yeah,
issue?
it's a problem like in Germany especially because there's a small number of big corporate landlords, and 16 years of conservative government. It's not as bad as it is
Yeah.
in the US because like there's a lot of like
Sure.
there's a lot of legal infrastructure in terms of like renter protection and stuff. But like finding an apartment, especially in a city, when you're out in the suburban areas and stuff, it's a lot easier. But if you're trying to be in a city, and I use the term city in the very European sense here, it
Yeah.
can be a nightmare. Like you don't, and they're very expensive too. So yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Vonovia, by the way.
Yeah, fuck
I mean-
Vonovia. Fuck
I mean,
Vonovia.
America's.
No, because I have a personal fucking gripe with them.
Yeah, I live
because-
in a Vonovia apartment, so I know exactly what
I have
you
a,
mean.
I have a fucking, I sent them like applications for like 10 different flats, and they never got back to me.
Yeah.
And it turns out if you have a plus in your email, the whole system shits itself, and they can't respond to you.
Incredible.
It doesn't let you do it. And it didn't know that until like this lady called me and said, "Yeah, your email is fucking wrong, you dumbass." But no, it's not.
Like, this is
You
just
can have a plus in your email. What the fuck?
Yeah, like
So they have like an SQL error then, because
Yes,
they're probably
yes,
logging
something
into
like
a database.
that.
They're probably logging into a database, and then it gets fucking confused.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
how
that sounds
the
pretty
free
rough,
market
buddy.
and capitalism make sure that inefficiencies like this don't happen ever?
yeah.
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 Honestly,
It's the
best
motherfuckers.
system.
Also,
They-
try to explain to them that I'm trying to move in with a roommate who is currently unemployed, but I can provide for both of us. They don't like that.
Burger, I don't
Yeah.
think correct on something.
Everyone
the
needs to
free
have a
market-
job.
The free market doesn't exist in Europe. You guys are communist countries, remember?
Shit, yeah, so it's really the
Alright,
government's
fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's just the
yeah.
government.
You guys are communists, so that's why everything breaks.
God,
We should
I
have less
wish.
regulation. I think you're right.
Yeah, honestly, if you just gave more control to the free market, I think all of this would be fixed.
Why do we have so many companies, anyways? We should have one.
Oh, that would be worse.
How did everyone get more quiet at the same time just now? What happened?
I don't. Maybe you're on
We
your
were,
end.
we're all on the same
No.
like vibe.
This is really
Yeah.
strange. I need to check. There's an audio levels thing here. Because I didn't change anything. Like, this just happened suddenly.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just drinking.
Yeah, but
Me
it still
too.
seems to be okay. Actually, my audio
I should
is
do that.
quiet. But no one has complained about this yet, because on account of nobody's actually watching the fucking stream, which is good.
There's this guy Aber Moon in chat.
Yeah, I actually I drove by an office, a Vonovia office today, and I did like the salute because it was the Vonovia office that somebody a few years ago threw a Molotov cocktail into. So I was really-
Oh my god, burning arson against a what's it called?
Landlord.
Fuck, Immobilien?
Yeah, like a landlord corporation.
Yeah, like a landlord
Corporate
corporation.
landlord.
I cannot say that I haven't had the same thought in my life.
It's
This is like
Landlord's
Germans
not a job,
specifically
so-
are not like very into like this kind of civil disobedience. But to Vonovia specifically, this shit happens often. Like there's been situations where like their cars get burned in the middle of the everything. Like this happens. This has happened like 5 or 6 times. Shit like this in the past few years.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hi,
So
Bob.
people are fed up. Like, of course, if this was like France, they would just kill them. Like
They would, yeah, I was saying, they would
Probably,
just
yeah.
be dead. That's my favorite
one of
thing
the
that I know
few
about French
things
people.
that I respect about the French.
Just fucking kill them.
Thank you, Burger. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so pro tip for getting a flat in Germany. Try to get the Wohnungsgenossenschaft to talk to you. They are not quite as shit. They are still shit, but they're not quite as shit.
Systemically that's the way it works. Genossenschaft. I've never had a problem with this. This is for the non-Germans and whatnot. Those are housing cooperatives. There's a lot of those in Germany, but like they have the fundamental structural problem of we're not gonna like get more houses because we invest the money that we have into improving the housing stock that we own and making sure that because the way that one of the main ways in which corporate landlords have ensured that everyone needs to raise rent, even if they don't want to, is by changing legislation in many like states and cities so that the land tax is based on the price that you could be demanding instead of the price that you are actually demanding for the apartment that you're renting.
Why would that be the case? I don't.
Like literally, like
That's a very good question.
What is even the argument they use to promote that law, other than we want to make more money? Yeah.
That's it.
This is like the conservative government of those places. They just fuck it up.
Hey,
basically that's
I got
one
a
of
bit
the
of a
main systems.
problem.
But this is why like a lot of the cooperatives are trying to like keep rents low for their tenants. So they have to, but they still get like fucked over by the land tax, so they can't construct as much new housing stock. Which then, of course, then property developers swoop in and do that to make sure that they can then sell, like not even sell luxury apartments, but like put them out on the casino that is the real estate market.
It's not even luxury apartments. The fucking 3-room flat with 70 square meters of floor space and a shitty
If you get
bathroom
more than
will
one,
run you 1.2k.
It's
3 bedrooms for 1.2k.
No, not 3 bedrooms, 3 rooms.
Like a 1-bedroom apartment for 1.2k. That's about standard, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of bullshit happening here too. We just have we were less fucked in the beginning, so we have a lot of like shit that prevents, like the legislation just was better from the outset, and that's why we haven't been dragged down as much as our brothers and sisters in the United States.
Well, yeah, I mean, our fucking rent hikes kind of got kickstarted by the 2008 crash.
Yeah, I was saying like 2008.
I mean, here too, but like,
Yeah.
I always love memes where it's like millennials waiting for the next housing crash so they can buy a house.
Honestly, I was...
At this point, it really do be like that.
No, at this point, people just stopped making houses. Like, it's not profitable anymore because the demand has lowered for housing because most people have just sort of resigned into not being able to buy a house.
Yeah.
And because real estate places are unwilling to lower costs, like lower prices for homes, it's just that developers aren't like making any new houses to keep prices high, so the people who do have houses can like buy houses. People are just at this point just buying apartments. They're just making apartments for landlords to rent out.
And
it's usually only luxury apartments and not like affordable housing.
Yeah.
I had a flat inspection thing at this like new development where it felt like I was going into China because all of the cranes and like high rises that were popping up there. That was I was cycling through that area 3 years ago and it was just barren wasteland, and now there's just houses everywhere.
I just want to also point out for the Americans that an apartment inspection is when you go look at an apartment that you want to buy. I found this out a while ago, but when I found this out, it literally killed me. There is no such thing in like Germany specifically as like your landlord is not legally allowed to enter your apartment without your consent. Ever.
Really?
Oh,
well, that's
cannot
true.
do that.
Okay,
Bro.
You didn't know that?
That's true
No.
in America, except for the fact that they're allowed to, like, if they give you like I think like a week's notice, they're allowed to like do an inspection
Yeah,
of your
they
apartment.
cannot
but-
do that here. They have to. You have to comply sometimes with when they want to like. Yeah, we're gonna put in new valves in your heating in your heater, but that's not the landlord. That's usually a contractor they send in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you can like
I
schedule
usually-
those at your convenience. Yeah.
The leases that I've signed, it's been part of the lease that they can just come in if they need to.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would
I
not
don't-
be able to do that here.
I don't think I haven't had that happen recently. Like I guess in the past like 2 years maybe.
Like, I know there's landlords in the US that come into your apartment and go like, "Oh, this isn't clean enough."
Oh well, I mean, I
Oh
haven't-
yeah,
no,
that's
I
happened
mean,
before.
yeah, that happens. It's
That
just
is
them trying to get out
incredible
of.
to me.
Because they
That's-
technically, quote unquote, they own like all of it. So like, if the carpet's not clean, or like if you have pets and stuff, they
Oh, I got in
expect
trouble. I
it.
had to pay a fine recently because we had a cat and I hadn't paid the pet deposit for it yet.
Yeah,
And,
the pet deposit's like $1,000.
It was $400 for the cat. Yeah.
Oh, well, they
but
can't fine
the-
you for having a cat here. I don't. I
Yeah,
think cats
yeah.
are legally like
You
small.
can like they put
animals.
it in the lease that you're not allowed to have pets, but if you have pets, they cannot kick you out.
It's not legal to
All
do
right,
so
well-
anyways.
Anyways, the way they found out was that a maintenance guy came over to repair and he reported the fact that we had multiple animals in
What a
Wow.
fucking piss.
What a fucking
the place. Yeah.
Fucking snitch.
Yeah,
snitch.
honestly, dude. You should kill that man.
Kill that
Let's fucking go!
Dude.
man. Just find him. We're on a squad now.
It's like John Wick, but he didn't kill your dog. He just told
He just
people you
reported
had
that
a
your
cat.
dog went
No
to
people that he
the
exists.
landlord. Yeah.
I had to
LMAO.
pay $400 to my landlord.
Oh shit.
Shooting spree where you like murdered 100 mafia guys,
Yeah.
completely unrelated to. They just happened to be there.
I caused like $2 million in property damage.
Yeah. I had to pay $400 to my
Oh
landlord.
my god, guys.
That's why I don't have a pet.
So
Yeah.
So throughout this, I've been playing Rome and Rome Total War, and I'm at war with Scythians, and I'm like, wait a second, Scythians,
With
horse
the
people,
Scythians?
horse
Who's
people.
that?
Yeah, the Scythian
The
Empire.
Scythians?
No, it's literally written like this.
It's the Howard Stern as their leader. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. The
But like
Scythians?
Scythians, horse people,
yeah.
They're
horse
horse-
people.
Yeah, they write stuff. I get you.
Yeah. We know what you're
I know-
talking about. Yeah.
I know what your horse
I think
is.
of like people with scythes.
Yeah. I mean, that would be my first thought too when I saw
But like these guys. Hang on.
I know who
These
the
guys.
Scythians. I know who the Scythians are. We're
Yeah, the horse-
Yeah, I know. I know
Yeah.
you're fucking with me, but I'm just posting to people.
The horses.
Yeah. But I'm like, wait, horses, horse people.
Why is that horse's
Horse
butt
people.
cheeks so big?
Somebody
horse
was
people.
Does
horny.
that guy have a sword and a mace? That's awesome.
Shouts out
Wait,
to
very
that
on
guy.
mountains.
a sword and a mace. Which image?
The last. Wait, what is that on the left side of his hip?
That's a dagger.
A
Is it?
Yeah.
You got that's dude. A
It's a
tiger
dagger.
is 10 times cooler than a
That's
mace.
a
That's,
Yes, it's a tiger. It's a miniature tiger. But like,
It's
I
a
was
pocket
thinking like
cat.
horse people,
No,
centaurs,
it's a dagger that has
centaurs
a
as Scythians, centaurs.
Yeah, I mean
What?
centaurs. It's as Scythians. That's kind of. I mean, that's been done.
And also women centaurs
What about
fighting
him?
alongside the
If
men.
you please trigger warning when you say women, please.
Yeah.
I'm an
No, fuck
incel.
Excuse you.
Also, hang on, I'm
Centaurs,
trying.
but with fat titties.
Also,
Hell
so
yeah.
they're both wearing human armor and horse armor. So,
I mean,
so you know
they're
the
humans and
Yeah.
horses.
Yeah, they're human and horses, but they wear horse armor and like
You think
Or
they
can
pirated
attract
the
horse
DLC
armor.
that gives them horse armor, or they like bought it?
That's super expensive
oh
DLC.
my fucking god, fuck you, Jesus.
I do have a question though.
Okay.
What?
Are there like wizards in the game?
Well,
Like mages, like magic stuff?
Yeah, I would want them to be. Yes.
Yeah, if the Scythian Empire had them, this would be what they wield. It's their magic wand.
What is the point? What is the point of that hole in his shield, by the way, that crescent shape?
It's so you can hit him, dude. It's like the
Oh no,
know the
that's
giant
a very-
eye that the spider has.
No. That's a
I see.
a very prominent shield in Civian. Well, just in steppe
Yeah.
nomad culture in the Eurasian steppes. It's like you see it not only in Civians, you see it in Persians. You see it like all over the fucking place.
Persians don't exist.
So it covers everything except the part of you that's not armored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because for cavalry they would wear it on the shoulder, but for infantry they would hold it in their arms because I think it's like you can attach it to your forearm. Like it's not something that you hold with your fist; it's something that you attach to your forearm. So
Yeah,
that
That
you can
makes
attack
it
free to ride.
worse.
I
Like that literally just makes the problem more bad.
What is the utility of that?
You need a hand free to ride.
Yeah.
No,
can
but I'm
grip
talking like what
things,
is
you
the
can grip-
utility of the giant fucking hole?
So
that
your
you could
neck doesn't
kill
get-
No,
people
but
through?
for them, they are
Doesn't
horse
bonk in the
archers.
head?
They are a very horse archer based culture. Like they live and breathe the bow for breakfast.
I mean, he's
Doesn't-
asking the
that
question. He's
doesn't answer
asking
the question.
the question
No,
he's
but that
asking.
makes-
is
like,
why
It
does it
makes
have
it easier for them to knock and loose arrows. Like you have a shield on your
Oh,
dominant
so it
arm,
actually
which you hold the
it
bow
complements
with.
your neckline basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can
I
you
see.
are you genuinely not looking at the same thing
No,
as me? It's like-
I said I get it now, dude. Like, what the fuck are you like? It's so they can put it, and so if it wasn't like this, like their head would be moved to the
He
side.
just bonk you every 5 minutes.
Yeah, they'd get like fucking spinal damage. Right.
Yeah,
we could have
but
said that.
That's
from
all.
the
That's
beginning.
true, dude. Buddhist has a point. It's also based and cool looking. So
I mean,
That
that,
is-
actually, you know what? That
Yeah.
is- that you
Yeah,
should have said
absolutely.
that, yeah.
I'm also trying to find cataphracts because their cataphracts look so fucking cool.
And
Like,
cataphracts in general are fucking cool, though.
yeah, but like, hang on. This isn't necessarily a
What's a cataphract?
It's a
It's like. Hang on, I'll post a picture.
yeah.
This basically a horse with
bug
armor.
armor. It's a
This
It's
isn't
like a horse with a
necessarily
guy
like a
with a lot of armor.
Ah,
This isn't necessarily like. Yeah, no, that's a Persian cataphract. That's not
Again-
a Scythian
oh,
one.
okay. Guaranteed. This is where the idea of centaurs came from because that looked like one thing.
Yeah.
That looks like just the dude is part of
his
the horse.
arm kind of
Yeah.
looks like an elephant trunk.
But like, yeah, I mean, kind of.
It does.
But like, look, this is more like steppe nomad cataphracts. But like, look at that and tell me you don't want that on a centaur.
What?
Look at that and tell me that would not look cool on a centaur.
I would just like
that
the
would
science
not
of
look
centaurs
cool on
to
a
be there.
centaur. Are you satisfied now?
No, fuck you.
You heard him
Well,
say
you
it.
see, you told me to say it, dude.
No,
Internet
asked
tells
you
me this is what it
rhetorically,
is.
you asshole.
Internet says this is cataphract armor.
Yeah.
This is what
I
they used
mean-
to ride around horses with.
Okay, as an artist, I have a problem with this because his armpits are too high. Like, if his head is where it is in the helmet, his arms would be detached.
I'm pretty sure he's like a corpse or something. I don't remember. Warhammer lore. Hold up.
I don't like big chunky armor like that, so.
I like big chunky. armor.
But this is how it was. Oh, you're talking about the Terminator. Yeah, no, Terminator. is fucking cool.
Is it Terminator? Are Terminator's corpses, or is that the fucking other ones?
No, that's a dreadnought. Terminators
Okay.
are alive.
And they're just tryhards. I don't know.
No, they actually do their
They-
job properly.
You
They
say they don't try
dislocate their
hard?
sh-
You say they half-ass their job?
Oh, someone's about to be a weeb.
Oh no. Oh no, Chris, don't do it.
Samurai cataphract armor.
That
I
actually,
mean,
that fucking
samurais
rocks,
did
dude.
wear
That
pretty
could
heavy
be
armor,
dope.
but they do need to wear like samurai cataphract armor. Sounds like a cool fucking idea.
Let's see here.
But like, again,
hell
that's
yes.
that's the Mongols. That's
is-
the
Yeah,
Mongols.
I'm looking it up and I keep just seeing Mongols.
Yeah.
Because
But like,
Just
don't think
pretend
samurai
this
use
is a
that.
samurai, dude. Just pretend it's a
I
samurai.
mean, to be fair, you could literally just put a samurai, and I would go, that actually looks cool and does not
Use
look
your
very different.
imagination.
Why does your character in this game look like Donald Trump, though? Let's go to the elephant in the room here.
Huh?
Why, Kashi, does your
Donald Trump.
character literally look like Donald Trump?
Just
He chose it.
celebrating him getting like raided. So
Oh,
yeah.
I just.
Also, interesting little tidbit
This
about
Trump.
the Civians. For some reason, they were expert gold workers. Like, they had a lot of gold items
everyone needs a hobby.
Honestly.
for some reason.
You're not making it easy not to make prostitute jokes right now.
Yeah, it's really...
Fuck off.
It's the Sibian
Nothing wrong with
Empire.
prostitute.
Welcome to the Howard Stern Show. Today we're going to talk about the Sibian Empire.
But, like, look at these guys and tell me you would not want them to be centaurs, right?
I would not
Like,
want them to be centaurs.
I feel like
I'm asking this rhetorically.
And I'm not being like I don't know. I just
I don't
centaurs
see the
are their own
point.
thing.
I want it because I like ancient history mixed with like fantasy. That shit is cool to me.
I thought you liked centaurs because
Like,
I mean, isn't that most of fantasy?
I think it would be
Well,
less
most fantasy's
practical.
more like medieval, but yeah.
Wait, do centaurs?
Hmm?
Okay, this is on. Never mind, I'm fucking retarded. Do centaurs
Yeah.
have arms?
yes.
Yes.
Centaurs, generally speaking, have arms. They are.
It's just-
it's like replace the horse's
It's a-
head with the torso of a human being. So that's basically what a
That
centaur
would be
A horse-
fucking sick, though, like a centaur without arms.
With no
Oh,
arms. It's just like a man torso.
Yeah.
The head.
But like, I'm thinking of so many things. So there's that. You know, Scythians/Sarmatians as
I
centaurs.
found this concept art.
Yes. Jesus
That's beautiful.
Christ.
You see,
Yeah.
Oh my
that's
God, what
the
the
art.
I found what
I
a
love
centaur
that he has
without arms looks
massive
like.
tits.
This
Like
is a
that, I
centaur
really-
without.
Yeah, that's a centaur.
That is pretty great. Yeah.
That is a horseman for sure.
But like,
Why
I'm
do they
like,
all have such boobies?
Is this this is fucking sick, dude.
you know how elves,
Because
especially
everyone
like
wants to
high
fuck that.
elves. You know, like
Wait, look at this guy. He has 4 arms and 2 legs.
And webbed
Oh, shit.
hands.
And
like,
webbed hands.
He looks like a crab.
Oh my
Like,
god, that
you
is
know-
awesome.
Oh,
you
man.
know how high elves, well, elves, but especially
like
high elves
high.
in high fantasy gets compared to like a Persian empire.
I have
For some reason-
literally never
I've-
heard that in my
I would say
entire life.
I don't-
I've heard it enough times. It's like, oh, the
I've
elves are
not.
like this old ancient empire, like the Persian Empire before it fell, and it's like, but you never get to see them in like Eastern clothing and shit, like as Persians. I'm like, you know what? Elves as Persians.
Maybe because that's not a thing. I've
Elves
never-
as Persians.
Yeah.
I mean, elves as Persians would be
I-
cool, but like
I
I've
have,
literally
in
never
fact,
heard
seen
this.
that. I think I think Pathfinder maybe.
Half-
Like elves
really
kind of
need
just
to
come from
watch
everywhere, so
Elves are just
They're
everything.
just there.
no, I mean like elves are like aliens basically in Pathfinder, and just some of them ended up in the Middle East, I guess.
I would
Yeah,
hope
but
so.
like with
So they, like,
turbans and
adopted
shit.
Islam.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like with turbans and shit and whatnot, it would be cool, I would think.
Do Persians
And, like,
wear turbans?
Mormon-
Is that a Turkish thing? I thought that was like a
No, they do sometimes wear turbans,
thought
but it's
that
not
was
like
like
the
a
turbans.
Asian
It's not
thing.
like the turbans that cover their mouths. It's like just the head turbans,
The
I think.
turbans that cover their mouths?
You know,
Are there
like how they
turbans that
have,
cover mouths?
you know, they
Like
have
a hijab?
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say that. I
Turbans
think that's a
Does it like
job.
there are
turbans
different
that
words?
cover their mouths. I'm pretty sure it's just you're describing a different article of clothing than a turban.
but like you've got like really long turbans where you can use to cover your
I
mouth
found-
in case of sandstorms or whatnot.
I found like this image where you could like here's I don't know if this is an elf, but here's a picture you could probably use for an elf.
Oh, yeah, that actually
looks like
does
it
look a
comes from
little
a
bit
board
like
game.
fucking, what do you call it? Aladdin. Yeah. Still feel like this is pretty unusual, though. Like, these look very cool, but...
Yeah, it is. It is more because elves tend to like be more like woodsy nature, like Welsh,
What a stereotype.
Celtic type stuff.
For
Yeah.
Welsh elves. Fucking...
Welsh,
Yeah.
fucking Welsh, man.
Think about it. They
Imagine
have like
if
they have long ass
speaking Welsh, yeah.
like unpronounceable names. That
Yeah.
sounds like a Welshman to me.
I mean, to be fair,
And they're
he's not
great at
wrong.
archery. Also Wales.
It really...
I'm good at
what you need is,
archery.
like,
But
the
I mean,
incest
to be
factor
fair,
there, though.
To be fair, the Persians.
I'm
were
pretty
also
sure elves
very
have a
good
lot
at
of
it.
incest. They're,
Oh man, elves are
Okay.
super
I mean,
incest.
if you
What
live
the
for like
fuck?
1,000 years, at some point, it's like
It's
Yeah.
true.
really mad.
At some point,
that
you have had
this
to
is
try it.
related to this.
You had to try it.
I think actually, hold on.
No, statistically,
It's like how vampires all become gay at some point. It's like,
Yeah, I mean it's just
I'm
boring
bored.
otherwise.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings author J.R. Tolkien was heavily influenced by the Welsh when creating the Elvish language for his book.
Damn.
Yeah, like the Elvish language is basically just Welsh.
and that
Yeah.
makes him incestuous.
Wasn't
Yeah.
speaking Welsh illegal back then when he was doing that? I
That
feel
would
like it was
be-
still probably no. Actually, it might have not been at that point. But
I-
there was
maybe,
for a
maybe
long
not.
time. Speaking Welsh was illegal.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Why, I can't imagine speaking a language being illegal.
Nowadays, you
it's
mean.
super weird because if in like
Make it
in
illegal
Spain,
again.
Like
where
I
grew
get
up in
why.
Catalonia-
Like I understand why it's illegal, like because of imperialism, but like it's just so weird to me that you would like ban language.
In Catalonia, for instance, right? There's a lot of old people there who speak Spanish very poorly, especially in rural areas. And that was because they basically, like, speaking Catalonian, or Mallorquí, as it was there, was illegal. And so naturally what they did was exclusively speak Catalonian.
Yeah.
Because they were like country
yeah.
people, right? They like nobody fucking like Franco wasn't gonna show up and be like, you're speaking the wrong language, right? That wasn't gonna happen. So a lot of them didn't actually properly get to practice speaking Spanish, and so now that the culture is sort of relaxed and you can speak both languages at this point, they can't speak Spanish properly. Luckily, like,
LMAO.
official documents are all in Catalonian, so.
Nice.
Yeah, fair. But like, the weird thing for me is like Persians were renowned for their bowmanship. So like, whenever I see elves, it's like, but why aren't you using the Eastern designs? It's like, it makes no sense.
Because they're modeled off the wall. Because everything's dissected from like Tolkien, right? Like most fantasy
Yeah.
just copies what Tolkien like set up in his fantasy novels
Yeah,
to
pretty
some
much.
extent.
You can
And
also,
so therefore elves tend to be like Welsh Celtic nature people.
you also, like, you don't have to take every cultural trope when you, like, creating fantasy culture. If the
That
this
is
like,
very
Welsh
true.
coded, they don't need
But
to
I
be
want
good
to.
archers. Like, you know,
But
this
I
is
want to.
French
Also-
coded.
but
They
also-
don't need to be gay. You know, it's fine. It's
I
like-
mean,
You can just pick and choose. It's
yeah.
your world.
In Pathfinder, there is a stand-in for essentially what like the French nation is, and it's called Gault. And Gault is a
yeah.
nation that is constantly in a revolutionary struggle.
Hell yeah.
They just change their government every like 5 minutes, and like everything is run by this council of like revolutionaries. It's really fucking funny.
LMAO.
Hell yeah.
That
They're
does
like,
sound
it's like
quite
the
funny.
Bruja paradise, basically. It's like
I love
you're
the
just gonna have that
I
all
love
the
the
time.
the thought of a somewhat stable government that just kind of coups itself constantly just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be just like there's like this shaded, shadowy cabal of people who like purposely start revolutions and like mob mentality kind of things and direct it in a way so that they're always on top.
A system of
That
government
is
based on leftist
volatile.
infighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a special like detachment of that government called the Grey Gardeners who all like wear fucking executioner hoods and carry big ass fucking swords and shit.
LMAO.
Fuck, that's cool.
Shout out to those guys
Yeah.
if they're watching.
There is also Nazi devils worshipping people.
Of course.
course.
They-
I
you
mean,
don't,
that
you don't
was
have to be a Nazi to
implied.
worship the devil, okay?
No, they just are both. They just chose both.
It just so happens. to
It
be
was
that.
just that, hey, let's be
Just so happens
fascist.
that they do both.
No, yeah, it was just like there's like it's because the place that they're from is kind of a stand-in for like Italy, kinda, and like the fucking like a long time ago, this specific royal house made a pact with basically Satan,
Yeah.
and they gave them like demonic powers, and then they ascended to the throne, and then became this huge expansive empire that now is a Nazi devil worship place where they like enslave halflings and stuff.
Awesome.
And everyone just kind of is okay with it because they're good trade partners.
I mean, that's how Dobby
Awesome.
came into be.
That's a what?
Dobby. You just enslave the halflings.
Oh my god, I misunderstood you there.
I feel like you understood something like terrible from your tone of voice just there.
Yeah, I was like, elaboration?
What's you saying?
You said Dobby, I thought you said docking.
Oh,
Jesus,
I
what the fuck,
need a
bro?
dick with a foreskin.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that
Alright, we
sounds
have
pretty
15
great.
minutes left on the stream.
Okay.
Okay.
But like,
Yes?
You need to finish the.
Like,
There needs
my
to
God.
we need
There's
more
just so
sentence
much-
here, dude.
listen,
mermen as Carthaginians.
What?
It's
Mermen?
Carthaginians.
Mermen, however you want to call them.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie,
Carthaginians.
I know what Carthage is, but like if you asked me to describe what Carthage culture was, I would not be able to fucking tell you. It would just basically be just
Mercenaries
reverse Roman.
and
It'd
merchants.
be reverse Roman culture. I don't
Oh,
fucking know.
No, it is
Wasn't
literally
Like,
just
I don't-
naval
I don't
power,
fucking-
mercenaries, and merchants.
See,
Also
you just said all
child
those things, and that just
sacrifices.
sounds like Rome. I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
like,
that does not
that's-
sound
it's
like Rome at
Venice,
all.
That's like
basically.
Rome,
It is, like,
Rome
you just described
hated
Venice.
merchants with a passion.
You know,
I mean,
they,
look
I
at them,
know
they
they
hated the
hated
fucking
the
Jews.
Romans with a passion.
They
but,
had
like,
elephants. That's cool.
Yeah.
They had African elephants, yes, but they also Romans themselves hated merchants. Like,
And like I look up the Carthage, and I just
That's-
get like
that sounds
maps
kinda-
and like historical documents.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Also-
even get like
supposedly, it has been found that Carthaginians did in fact sacrifice children to some of their gods.
I mean, who didn't?
Yeah, I mean...
The Romans, that's for sure, and the Greeks.
I don't believe you.
Damn.
I'm gonna
They
type,
sacrifice
type
animals.
Rome
Wrecked, brother.
child sacrifice. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is a great topic for a stream, dude. I'm really, this
Yeah.
is...
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Like, I'm glad I've at least managed to put it out there because at least like it's out there. If people want to grab it, they can grab it.
Literally nobody watches this. I'm sorry to... your idea was absolutely
telling
fucking
me-
killer, but no one watches this.
You're
And
telling
they
me
shouldn't.
that people don't tune in every week for the stream.
Yeah, like 30,000 for... I'm looking at the analytics right now. It's like 30,000 people.
3 million, 3 billion, in
Yeah,
fact.
it's
Everyone who has
just
an internet
li-
connection is currently watching this.
Listening just intently as we talk about,
More
like...
people than speak the English language are currently.
So somebody is tuning in to hear from like Pyongyang on
Yeah.
bootleg internet.
what the fuck is bootleg internet?
It's like
Like,
Kim
you know, like,
Jong-un,
like I
it's
said, like, they,
I have
like-
to watch it.
Well, because I think North Korea does have internet, but they have like an intranet kind of thing
Yeah.
where they use their own operating systems, and so you have to sort of boot off of like
Yeah, Red
illegal internet sources. You have to piggyback off of like, or you have to like connect to signals from like South Korea.
Dude, that guy Jerry Rowling sounds fucking baller as hell, dude.
Jerry
Sounds fucking
Rowling.
based.
Let's see here.
He led 2 revolutions to set up democracy. First one because he was under dictatorship already. Decided, hey, democracy sounds based. Then, after he left office, or after he set up democracy, it turned into a dictatorship again, and then he decided, right, Revolution 2, Electric Boogaloo, commencing.
He does kind of look like Giga Chad, like if he got old. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
does. He was a military officer.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
said that with like a lot of reverence, like that was impressive.
Like,
but I feel
that's-
like it's
yeah.
that's like the least impressive thing. You
My
did.
dad's
No,
a
but it's
military officer. That doesn't
it's
fucking mean
impressive.
shit.
The guy who taught me how to set up Windows servers was a military officer.
Damn.
The guy who does my IT work was a military officer. I don't fucking care.
You'd be surprised how many fucking ex-military guys go into IT here.
It's no, I wouldn't. It's very common here.
No, but to be like an officer, like a military man, and then try and install a democracy,
Yeah,
Like a
you'd be
proper
installing Windows.
functioning- a properly functioning democracy, that sounds
Was it-
cool as fuck.
Wasn't that most most revolutions were that kinda like?
I mean,
I mean,
was
you
it like
have to
it
look
wasn't
at Turkey.
installed?
Revolution to have installed.
Yeah, like that was democracy. I think like wasn't like Castro
With
the military at one
Robespierre
point?
of all people.
Like Turkey
fuck?
does this every couple of years, where they have like, oh well, we've turned to Islamism again. Hi, time for the military. They do fucking clean
I think
again.
Was
But
Sankara a
they
military?
fucked
guy?
it up last time, though.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still like I'm a fan of the conspiracy theory that like Erdogan orchestrated that himself to sort of remove those people in the military that basically would do that tradition. So he would be able to like cement his power to like an extent that the military would have a hard time fucking with him.
I'm
Because-
struggling to. I'm
Yeah.
struggling to think of a revolution that led to like a that was overthrowing colonialism that led to democracy that wasn't started by like a military guy. The only one I can think of is like South Africa, right? I can't like because like Burkina Faso, he was in the military before he started his revolution.
It's the guys with the guns. That's
Yeah, they have
that's
training
why
and
Africa
means.
is like governed by petty warlords. Like that's basically what it boils down to.
I mean, yeah, it's because it's in a constant state of conflict in lots of parts of it that it just ends up in the hands of warlords. I'm not talking about warlords. I'm talking about like
Oh, I had some-
anti-colonial governments, not like
Yeah.
I had one of my friends who gets nerd sniped very easily, just kind of dumped the entire history of Rhodesia on me for some
Can
reason.
you
in less
explain
than
to me
2
what
hours.
the term nerd sniped means?
It's when you it's
what
when
you
get,
do?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Kinda. It's when you get like for no apparent reason like very heavily interested in researching a certain topic.
Oh, okay, so hyperfixated essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I think that's a better term. He became like hyper.
I mean, I don't know. Nerd sniper sounds dope.
I
Yeah,
would
that's-
rather
does
I'd
sound
rather be
good,
like,
yeah.
doctor, I need some
Yeah, it does.
medication. I keep nerd sniping. That sounds the way better.
Nerd 360 no scoping,
What is-
dude.
No scope.
What is the solution for that? Ritalin?
Adderall.
Oh, Adderall. Yeah, that
How
makes more
about
sense.
Ritalin. Like I got fucking brain damage, thanks.
It's Subtractorol. How about Subtractorol? Am I right? Fucking.
Am I right?
Actually, like in
Adderall.
Boys Home, half the fucking kids that I lived with were getting Ritalin. It was insane.
Yeah, Ritalin was bad.
Yeah, that's
That was just some you took with your breakfast cereal. Like,
they just
Delicious.
mix
Oh,
it in
your
there.
youth. Here's your Ritalin.
oh, that's
Nice.
Those are some pretty interesting freaking Oreos or something. I don't know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they were fucking gross.
hell yeah.
I don't know. Freaking Lucky
I-
Charms.
Why do they have a Donald Trump haircut in this game though? Like,
I don't know. They just added it in the game.
Why?
Like in the battle
What
pass.
game? What game? Which game is it?
it's
Deep Rock Galactic.
That's a bit. Oh,
Because he looks like a dwarf, maybe?
does Donald
mean,
Trump
the
look like a dwarf? He doesn't have a beard.
That's
Yeah.
true.
how tall is he?
But not
I mean,
every
the
dwarf needs a
resemblance is
beard.
Uncanny.
So-
He's like,
I know a
Trump is
few
like
people who would
6
kill you for having said
6+
that.
feet.
Like, that's.
I'm sure.
What?
The only dwarf I like is Varric, and he doesn't have a beard, so.
Varric is cool. I like Varric.
I don't
What?
know who he is, but he sounds pretty.
Hang on,
epic.
are you saying that you don't like any dwarves except Varric? That sounds kind of racist. Like,
It is.
not
Yeah,
to
they're
I don't
like,
like-
racist.
I
I'll
don't
have
like
you know my
playing
wife's a
dwarves.
accuse you of... Well, it's different from, like, I don't like playing any kind of, like, little character.
Yeah,
it's
I don't.
different from like I don't want to
Vertically
play it to like I don't
disadvantaged.
like them.
Okay, that's true.
I'm not.
I don't have a
racist, just don't
problem
like 'em.
with dwarves.
Oh look, I don't have a problem with dwarves. It's just that they all small and they all.
They're all
metal
funny.
fists. Oh, they all fucking
I don't-
steal my metal.
I don't have a problem with them. They're just shifty. And
What if they did have a metal stealing problem? What if they were like missing home? They're like homesick.
So like,
I get
need
home-
to
I get home-
Anfash in there. They'd be
They're
like Fenian
drawing on
coded.
metal.
I get home and I get
They're
home and
eating
a
paint
a
for the
troop.
lead.
I get home and a troop of dwarves that pull all the copper out of my walls.
I fucking hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Put that in like a new, like a modern dwarf, like modern fantasy setting.
Like in Shadowrun, like they just like take all the copper out of your walls.
I am
Yeah.
100%. That is straight from like some Humanist flyer. Honestly.
True.
They keep stealing the catalyzers out of my car. I can't deal with this shit anymore.
I can't remember.
Help us protect you from this menace.
Humanist views like dwarves in like a similar way to like Mexicans. I've noticed from like propaganda because there's like dwarves coming and stealing all of our jobs.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they all like know each other because they're all like related, and so they give each other the jobs and shit. Which is
And
why
then-
we should do that instead.
Yeah, and then the elves are like supposed to be the stand-in for the mass conspiracy Jews or something.
And it's also like I get it with the elves a little bit because they like never retire. They just like, yeah, I'm gonna have this job for like 500 years. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but it hasn't been that long yet. Like it's been what 70 years? I guess 70 years is like a long. It's starting to affect people at that point.
Yeah, it's
but
like at a. It has to be so fucked up if you're like in a family of elves, right? And you just so happen to be the one that like where the genetic fluctuation is such that you manifest as like a human.
Oh yeah, well that's probably pretty common. It's probably usually the other way around mostly, where humans breed elves.
But it's like I
occasionally.
feel like it's because then it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna live for like 1,000 years. But then it's like all of my family is gonna live for 1,000. It's like having a terminal disease that's just being human.
Yeah. That would suck. Like, oh shit, my eyes don't work. I'm gonna die young. Like,
I don't have dark
Hello,
vision.
man.
I can't see at night, and my eyes and my feet going to die
look,
at the age of like 70.
I don't like the fact that elves in Shadowrun have night vision. I don't like it.
It makes
Well, I
sense.
mean,
That's how they are in
mostly
D&D too.
I don't like that either.
I don't like the elves.
I want them to have sharp vision. It bothers me. I can't tell you why. I know that it make me the forests and whatever the fuck. I want them to have like good eyesight. I don't like the thing where they have.
So like instead of getting low light vision, you want them to have like a natural like +2 to visual perception or
yeah,
something.
shit like that. Because it's dwarves are the ones who should have dark vision. Which
That
in
would make
Shadowrun they have like thermographic vision, but then I don't get like why trolls have that. I mean, the reason why trolls have that is because we need to give them something and to be for balance.
Well, no, that's not why. It's because because historically, like in like folklore, trolls and dwarves live underground.
Mm.
That's why they have
Trolls live
thermographic vision.
underground?
Yeah, or they
I've heard
in
some
fucking in
stories.
Tolkien they couldn't go out in the sun. Remember?
Caves.
Oh yeah, they live in caves usually, but like in like Tolkien, like they couldn't go out in the sun. And they would like fucking turn into
but I feel
fucking
like
statues.
I feel like actually that's not true. I'm mixing this up with something. I was gonna say that like in Shadowrun the creatures are more like folklorically oriented, but that's just like the meta variants.
No, 'cause, like elves are tall, slender,
Yeah,
pointy-eared
yeah.
guys.
What am
It's-
I mixing that up with though? I
wonder what.
I don't
It does
know.
sound familiar, but I don't know.
yeah.
No, but I agree with you with the sharp vision
Actually-
thing. I think that should be a bonus. But if I'd say they should have that on top of low light vision, but then elves would just be the only thing anyone plays ever because they already have so many advantages already.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're.
I
I was
agree.
to say like they don't have to
Yes.
sleep. They just.
Oh, they do in
sleep better.
Shadowrun.
Wait,
But
they
Yeah.
don't have to sleep?
in
Nope.
D&D,
In D&D,
in
they
D&D,
don't, no.
in D&D 5th edition specifically, they do not.
Oh,
they have to.
okay, yeah, I
they
never
don't
played that.
sleep. They rest. They have to rest for 4 hours. a night.
Meditate or some
They
shit.
meditate.
The more I learn about 5th edition, the more I understand why my friends despise me for wanting to try it.
I mean, it's
fine.
not
I like
good.
fifth edition. It's
No,
like
it's
okay.
not bad.
It's like it's the vanilla ice cream of role playing games. Like
Yeah,
it's
I agree with that.
Actually, so you were criticizing me about making every fantasy race that I import into this ancient Roman era like part of their stereotype, right?
I
No,
don't know
he-
that anyone criticized you for that,
No,
but
what he
sure.
said,
Criticized, but-
what Berger said is you don't have to ascribe ethnicities to fantasy races at a 1-to-1 ratio. You don't have to include like all the different types of like cultural groups there. You can just sort of make your own like things that
doing
inspire
that.
them up.
I like doing that, especially for like
Okay.
ancient
Well, that's
civilizations.
fine.
It's
And then we said
still-
okay.
But
Yeah.
the one thing I want to say is these elves are different. So I did say like Persian elves, right? But
Okay.
in this case, they like using shields in combat, spears, and axes. And no like flowery movement, like actual brutally efficient, like single chop to the fucking face will end you.
This is something I want to say too. I hate Tolkien elves because they are so like superior and everything. Like,
Yeah.
these are just like the better humans. Like that's just what they are. I like the kind of elves that are like, yeah, they're very like graceful and shit. They have good dexterity, but they basically have like bird.
Oh,
I think
these-
you're kind of
these ones
missing
aren't gonna
something,
be
and
dexterous.
I think the thing that sort of applies to humans in fantasy settings over elves is that humans are more adaptable. Because like even in like Tolkien, right? Like the elves are dying out. Like they're done. They're leaving.
The one,
And humans are the ones who are able to adapt to the changing world and be able to grow and change with it. And also,
Yeah.
the big racial advantage humans have in basically every setting is we fuck like monsters. We fuck like animals. It's so much that in Shadowrun it's
Fantasy
a slur.
setting?
It's called breeders.
Yeah. Although to be fair, like orcs can actually reproduce faster than humans in Shadowrun.
Yeah,
so-
That's
Yeah, but
true.
they die.
The one
They
thing-
die
The
earlier.
one thing,
Yeah,
the
but
one
that,
thing
I feel
want-
like the sheer amount by which they like. I mean, there's a reason why all the other meta types are like 10% of the population, and then orcs are like 30. Like because they I'm pretty sure at some point statistically they are going to outbreed humans, even if they don't live quite as long.
Wow, Berger bringing up the human replacement theory. Holy shit. Take your membership card of humanity.
My God.
Jesus Christ.
My God, I'm going to unsub from you, Burger.
I mean, that
Report
is
you and
that's
out.
kind of the funny thing about Shadowrun racism, though. It's like, but like they kind of have a point. Like it's not like
No.
human racism where like we are kind of all the same essentially, but like no, elves do actually live 1,000 years. Like that's just a thing.
The problem with the racism, though, is because you focus on minute differences, you are unable to view people as individuals. That's like kind of the point.
I mean, yeah, that's it distracts a lot from like the systemic issues too. Because like
Yeah.
it's not just that orcs are just naturally stupider, even if they are. It's also because of the systemic issues that they don't have access to the same kind of education that like exacerbates that shit.
Yeah, I'm glad they moved away from trolls just got weird shaped heads, and that's why they'd be stupid. Like that was really. dumb.
I liked that actually because it said that no, trolls are not inherently stupider. It was they just had brain damage because they transformed into trolls. And like their skulls got significantly thicker. You would sustain brain damage.
The
from
one
that.
I just had an idea. So for the elves, like the Persian elves, they're not superior to humans. They're just better at controlling their emotions than humans.
So like Vulcans, basically.
I guess. But like they are skilled diplomats in this
Oh
universe.
shit! We need to stop the stream. The stream is over.
Oof.
We've
But
done
like
streaming.
in this one, the Persian ones, they are very skilled diplomats because they can control their emotions a lot better than humans. But also they're also
Would that really
very
make you a
good
more skilled
combatants.
diplomat? Because what a lot of diplomats do is like get people drunk and have them like spill state
Well, I
secrets.
mean, you have to know how to talk to people. I would think.
Yeah, and
You
I
can
feel
talk
like
to
if
people
you
and
have
not
influence,
regulate
your
that
emotions.
becomes a lot more difficult.
And like, yeah, I guess. But I still
Autistic
like the
diplomats.
analyze
autistic
people.
elves would rock though. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's
But-
been real.
but
and
like-
all that. Let's end the stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing I wanted to add is like they are brutally efficient in combat, and it's not